Welcome back, guys, to another video of Lord of the Mysteries. And today we are going to read chapter number 15 called The Invitation. And there are a few questions. Is client going to join? Is client going to join the what was that? Nighthawks. Nighthawks. Uh, as I remember right, they were from the Church of the Evernight, and I know my hair is overgrown a bit. I will get them cut in due time. Till then, I guess it's okay. It's okay. I guess it's not that bad, is it? Let's continue. Let's start reading the chapter without further ado. Please consider subscribing. I noticed I have addressed a few comments on my videos, and I've also noticed that you may have not subscribed yet. Please consider subscribing as it motivates me a lot. So let's continue. A wave of tumultuous tumultuous what the hell is that? A wave of tumultuous emotions rose up in Klein's heart after he heard turn. Instinctively he uttered, "Why? The Beyonders have serious hidden dangers, so much so that the Church internal juris, judicatory, judicate, what I can't read, man. It's been a few days since I have last read, and it's difficult. The Church's internal judiciary and the Beyonders, who dealt with bizarre phenomenon, are also prone to problems. Dunn stepped into the carriage and sat back in his seat. His expression and tone remained the same. This is not something that you need to understand. Neither it is something you can understand unless you become one first. Klein was struck dumb for a moment, after which he sat down and questioned in a tone that was half dubious and half joking. If I don't come to understand, how is it possible for me to make a decision to join? And not joining would mean Klein could not understand. This would end in a deadlock. Then Smith took out the pipe once again, placed it against his nose, and took a whiff. You probably misunderstood. A civilian staff member is also one of us. In other words, as long as I become one of your civilian staff members, I will be able to understand the relevant secrets, figure out the hidden dangers that plague Beyonders, and the dangers that may be encountered, as well as consider whether I want to become a Beyonder later. Klein recognized his thoughts and paraphrased what Dunn had shared. Dunn smiled and said, "Yes, that is the case, except for one point. You cannot simply become a Beyonder just because you want to become, just because you want to, because every church will be equally strict in this aspect. It would be odd if the churches were not strict." Klein lampooned silently as he added with a more intense tone, coupled with strong body language. "What about civilian staff members? This should be quite strict as well, right? There shouldn't be any problems if it's you," said Dunn with half closed eyelids as he whiffed the pipe with partially relaxed countenance. However, he did not ignite it. "Why?" Klein asked as he was once again grap- grap- grappled by doubt. At the same time, he gestured inwardly. "So, my uniqueness and halo as a transmigrator are akin to the fireflies in the night, ever so bright and outstanding." Dunn opened his half closed eyelids, his silver eyes reflecting the same tranquility as before. "First, you managed to survive without our help in such a situation. Certain exceptional qualities are not present in others. For instance, luck. Lucky people are often welcomed. After seeing that Klein's expression had turned blank, Dunn smiled slightly. Alright, just treat this as a humorous statement. Second, you are a graduate of the history department of from Co University. This is something we urgently need. Although a believer of the Lord of Storms, Luimi perceives women in a way that is loathsome. His views regarding society, humanities, economics, and politics remain incisive. He said because before that talents are key to maintaining a competitive advantage and positive development. A point that I very much agree with. I'm yawning way too much right now. I'm not even sleepy even. Guess that's what summer does to you. So, okay, where was I? Noticing that Klein was slightly furrowing his eyebrows, Dunn casually explained, "You should be able to imagine that we often encounter documents and objects from the Fourth Epoch or earlier. Many cults and heretics have tried to gain power from these things. Sometimes they themselves can lead to strange and terrible things. Except for the beyonders in special fields. Most of us are not good with our studies or have passed that age." Having said that, Dunsmith pointed out to his own head, and the corner of his mouth turned up slightly as he was mocking himself. He then said, "Those try boring knowledge always puts us to sleep. Even the sleepless can't help it. In the past, he would cooperate with historians or archaeologists, but posed the risk of exposing secrets and mishaps before might befall on those otherwise uninvolved professors and associate professors. Thus, the addition of a professional in our ranks is hard to refuse." Klein nodded lightly and accepted Dunn's explanation. With his thoughts all over the place, he asked, "Then why don't you directly groom one?" Groom one. Dunn continued, "This brings me to the third point, which is also the final and most important point. You are already been through a similar ordeal, or so inviting you doesn't violate the confidentiality clause. With regard to developing others, I bear the responsibility of exposure. I will bear the responsibility of exposure if it fails. Most of our team members are civilian staff members come from within the church." After Klein finished listening silently, he asked curiously, "Why are you so strict about maintaining confidentiality? Wouldn't spreading the news publicly to more people and increasing awareness lessons that the chances of a similar mistake from happening again? Would increasing awareness lessens the chances of a similar mistake from happening again. The greatest fear stems from the fear of the unknowns. We can make the unknown become known. No, humanity's stupidity is beyond your imagination. It actually leads to more people emulating these acts, creating more chaos and more severe incidents." Dunsmith shook his head and replied, "It's true, it's actually true. Humans are quite stupid when it's considered fun to do something, and they will do it regardless of their drawbacks. For example, going for a swim in a river, and there are many chances that some unfortunate accident might occur and you get washed away, flow with the river downstream, but no, they still do it because it's fun. So humans are pretty stupid in that case." Klein acknowledged as he replied in enlightenment. "The only lesson that humans can learn from history is that humans did not gain any lesson from history, and they always repeat it." Sorry, guys. And they are always repeating the same tragedies. That famous quote from Emperor Roosevelt is indeed filled with much philosophical meaning. Agreed. Done. Emperor Roosevelt said that the Transmigrator Senior really did not give the latecomers any chance to posture. Klein did not know how to follow up on Dunn's words. Dunn turned his head and gazed out of the horse carriage. The dim yellowish light of the street lamp intertwined to display the splendor of civilization. Oh, actually, I forgot they were having this conversation while Dunn Smith was on the carriage and Klein was on the ground. That's some awkward conversation to have. Imagine having such a long conversation at the side of the road where one person is sitting in the carriage and one person is standing on the ground. Man, I would rather just walk away or go ahead with towards my destination rather than talking in the middle of a street. Okay, where was I? Yes, there is a similar discourse within the judiciary of the major churches. This may be the main reason for the strict confidentiality and the prohibition of ordinary people from knowing. What is it? Klein asked as his interest was piqued. Pleasured that he seemed to be spying on secrets. Dunn turned his head, his face muscle pulled himself so slightly that it was hardly visible. Faith and fear brings troubles. More faith and more fear brings more troubles until everything is destroyed. After he said that, Dunn signed. Besides praying for the blessing and help from gods, humans can't solve their real major problems. Faith and fear brings troubles. More faith and more fear brings more troubles. Klein recited silently, but he could not fully understand it. What follows next was the fear of uncertainty that came from the unknown. It was like the dark shadows formed by the street lights outside. In the darkness without light, it appeared as though they were pairs of callous looking eyes and wide open mouths. As the horse galloped vigorously and nimbly while the wheels of the horse carriage reeled on ahead with Iron Cross Street in sight, Dunn broke the silence suddenly and formally invited Klein. Would you like to join us as a civilian staff member? In Klein's mind, multiple thoughts surfaced, making him indecisive. He contemplated and asked, "Can I have some time to consider?" Since this matter had serious implications, he could not hastily and recklessly make the decision. "No problem, just give me a reply before Sunday." Done. I'm actually getting a call. Wait a minute, I will be right back. I am back, guys. My friend was inviting me to play a game of Valorant, but I wanted to read more chapters, but I can't refuse him. So I guess it's one chapter today, but I will finish this chapter before going. Let's continue. Of course, remember to keep this a secret and don't disclose the information regarding Welch to anyone, including your brother and sister. Once this is violated, it will not only bring them trouble, but you might also have to attend a special court. Okay, Klein answered gravely. The carriage was once again plunged into silence. Seeing that they were nearing the Iron Cross Street and that he was almost reaching home, Cla- oh, they were riding the carriage. I misunderstood. I thought that Klein was standing outside the carriage while Dunn was inside the carriage. I didn't think that they were riding the carriage together to Klein's home. Okay, it was yes. Klein suddenly thought of a question. He hesitated for a few seconds before asking, "Mr. Smith, what kind of salary and benefits do civilian staff get?" This was a serious question. Taken aback momentarily, Dunn smiled instantly and answered, "There is no need for you to worry about this issue. Our funds are guaranteed by the church and the police department. For newly registered civilian staff, the weekly salaries are placed at £2 and 10 solely. There is an additional 10 solely as compensation for the risk and confidentiality." All of this will add up to a total of £3. This is hardly worse than a confirmed university lecturer. Afterwards, your salary will gradually rise according to your experience and contributions. As for civilian staff members, the contract is generally 5 years. After 5 years, you can quit. Normally, if you are no longer willing to stay, you only have to sign a lifetime confidentiality agreement, and you are not allowed to leave Tengen until permission is given. If you want to move to another city, the first thing you must do is register with the local Nighthawk. By the way, there are no weekends. You can only work in shifts at any point in time. There should be 3 civilian staffs on duty, and if you wish to go to the south or Desi Bay for a vacation, you will need to arrange it with your colleagues. Just as Dunn finished speaking, the horse carriage pulled to a stop, and the apartment building where Klein and his siblings resided in appeared on the side. I get it now. Klein turned around and walked down the horse carriage. He stopped at the side and asked, "By the way, Mr. Smith, where do I find you after I come to my decision?" Dunn gave a deep and low throaty laugh before saying, "Go to the Hound Pub at Besquick Street and find their boss." Right. WRIGHT. I just said right. Tell him that you want to hire a small mercenary squad for a mission. Huh? Ryan asked, confusedly. Our, lo- our location is confidential too. Before you agree to become one of us, I can't tell you directly. All right, Mr. Klein. All right, Mr. Klein Moretti. I wish you a good dream tonight as well. Dunn smiled as he said, "That's a bit creepy." Klein took off his hat and saluted. Watching as the pace of the departing horse carriage gradually sped up, he took out his pocket watch. Click. He pressed it open and saw that it was only a little past 4 in the morning. The streets were filled with a relaxing cool breeze. A dim yellowish light from the street lamp illuminated the surroundings. Klein drew a deep breath and took in the deep silence of the night around him. The busiest and noisiest district in the day would be so lifeless and quiet at night. This was in stark contrast to the silent observations and medium seance in Wedge's residence. It was only then that Klein realized that the back of his linen shirt was unknowingly drenched in sweat, cold and clammy. And that's it for this chapter. I guess it's ended. It was, I would not say short, but it was less than the previous chapter. So, thank you for watching this video. If you liked the content, please consider liking the video and sharing the video and subscribing the channel, man. And I have changed my goals, not at 100 subscribers, but I am willing to do live reactions even if I have, you know, 20 or 30 subscribers even. And it's not desperation, but I just want that there must be some people already willing to watch me so that we can have interactions on live, or else what's the benefit of life? So thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Goodbye.